when you know it's your own doing, there's a lot of power in that. It may not feel like power at first. You might feel like totally victimized by what I just said, and you might really fucking hate us for a little while, and then it'll rumble around, and eventually it'll click, and you'll be like, damn, those bitches were right again. Fuck. If I create.
We're back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. No one's letting you forget in the club. That is for fucking sure.
Are you in lots and lots of pain? How bad is the pain?
You fucking asshat.
Having fun dancing in the floor.
Number one, why am I calling you? Number two, you ruined everything.
Oh, so good. Meow, meow, meow. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy new day, Christine. I'm happy to be here with you.
Top of the morning to you, Kelsey.
Top of the morning. It's 1 in the afternoon, but basically morning for me. Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, I'm not an early riser, and I'm not ashamed of that. I like my sleep-ins. Although, today, I did actually wake up an hour and a half before my alarm, and I was very unhappy about it. I was like, what is going on here? I don't want to be a morning person. Stop waking me up. Like, let me sleep.
The universe is like, you're getting up early, bitch. You're getting up. Well, your girl over here, was watching Temptation Island until fucking midnight last night, knowing I had a 6 a.m. wake up because I had a TRX
Oh,
workout.
oh shit.
So it was like one of those things where it was like so juicy and they're about to do the bonfire and I'm sitting there and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I can't not watch this. Like, how do
Uh-huh.
I not watch this? Like, I can't watch trash TV often because I get like, I'm like, oh my God.
Suckered in.
Especially like the turbo trashy ones.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I was suckered in. Well, also last night I was like, I was planning on relaxing, and then all of a sudden this like, I knew I had to do the Panther episode, and so all of a sudden I was like, oh, I gotta do this, and then just like started flowing, and then an hour later I like black out. An hour later I've like channeled every single episode for the
You're
week for our
wired.
Panther drop, or private podcast feed. It was like our mini. And if you guys don't know, if you don't know, we've redesigned and reconfigured our the daily coaching club into Panther podcasts, and they're so
Mm-hmm.
fucking cool. These like mini
Mm-hmm.
courses that we are running now, they're
I
so
know.
fun. You get 2 a month of like our live 5-day mini courses, plus that workshop is so juicy,
I
and then
know.
a week
And
of
wild
wildcard.
cards,
Oh my God,
just
having so much fun in there.
random.
By the
Me
way, it's
too.
just like so fun to riff on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the wild card. And like wasn't planning on sharing like 25 minutes of my own dumpster fire story
But
just
I'm
to kick
glad you
off
did.
the mini course. But I was like, you know what? Fuck. Yeah.
Hey, it's called being visible for a reason. And I mean, we've been playing with
100%.
that in the visibility
100%.
challenge this last week, which has been so dope. And if you haven't joined it yet, what are you waiting for? Like, we're a week in, you can still join. It's a 30-day process. You'll get access for as long as you're in there until the end of April, but you can stack the week that you've missed. Like, we've made it super simple so that everything is quite stackable, and you could literally bang out the first week in a day if you really, really wanted to. So get yourself in there. But we've been having so much fun. We had our first live call with them yesterday, and I don't know, it was just so beautiful and magical to drop in with all of them and see them on the call and watch them engage with the material throughout the week. But then, I think it really says something about someone's character and their devotion to being seen when they like take on the challenge, they're doing the challenge, then they show up for a call or they show up and do the replay. Like, these women are so engaged, and I'm so obsessed with them. And we've also heard, an uptick in excuses. As with anything, when we put our butts on the line, everything that's incongruent with the new commitment that we are making comes up. And the first line of defense is often our excuses. And so we're going to riff on that today because we have an upcoming class on April 16th for the shed session, and we're doing a whole class on alchemizing chaos, like, because we see that is such a big piece that stops women from really self-actualizing is they create all of this unnecessary chaos in their life unconsciously, and it keeps them distracted. And when you're distracted because your energy is being pulled in all these different directions, you don't have to like really show up for your mission. And then you can sit back and be victimized by that and be like, see, life happened to me. It wasn't my fault. Like all this shit happened, all this chaos was happening. What was I to do? And so we want to get to the heart of the matter today, and we're going to talk about some excuses that actually create a fuck ton of chaos in your own world, and it's your own doing. And when you know it's your own doing, there's a lot of power in that. It may not feel like power at first. You might feel like totally victimized by what I just said, and you might really fucking hate us for a little while, and then it'll rumble around, and eventually it'll click, and you'll be like, damn, those bitches were right again. Fuck. If I created this chaos, then I can create something else. And if you can create something else, you could create the conditions for your dream fucking life. How about that? That seems like a good use of your energy and your creative life force and your power. And that's really what we're committed to in the club. Like the women who are in there are in that season of reinvention, and they're reinventing themselves to be a woman who literally creates her life on purpose and is committed and devoted to her mission and is willing to get in the fucking trenches and like clean all this shit out so that she can powerfully show up for the thing that she was put on this planet for. So if you're one of those women, get your application in ASAP because we want to meet you. And we want to talk about some excuses today.
Fucking best. I love I love kind of talking about this like more, I don't say dark side of personal development, but kind of
Mm-hmm.
is like that's our, and we got that episode that we did on the dark side of personal
Mm-hmm.
development was so good. You should listen to it. If you haven't listened to it, definitely go in there and listen to it. But I would say you and I really we like to fan the flames. We like to get people a little rumble tumbled because
Yeah, yeah.
that for me has been the most transformative way of like I'm not always in the mood to get bitch slapped with truths.
Of course. Who is?
But there are days that I'm really into it. Like there's days like when I started doing shadow work. Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started doing shadow work, uh, it was like this twisted sense of like, what the fuck? Like I don't want to look at this. But there
Mm-hmm.
was this like deep, rich empowerment on the flip side of it as well. And that sort of was, where that visual I share a lot in our calls around like being like, I was like, okay, Christine, like you're either the victim or you're the like empowered woman. Like you can't have both. So are you willing to cash in your victim chips,
Mm.
right? Like if you want to play the big leagues and if you want to go, you're sitting in like a amazing casino and you go walk in and you're like, I want to play in the high rollers, stakes back room. And they're like, well, why are you playing with penny slots? Like,
Yeah,
what are
you
you
got to
doing out
pay
there?
to
You're
play.
dabbling. You're like fucking around. You're not, you're, yeah, you need to cash in the victims. You need to cash in those chips because what you want is on the other side of them. And listen, when I was in deep in my dark night of the soul, holy fuck moments, trauma island, if I had listened to this podcast, I would have been like, fuck all y'all, you stupid bitches. You don't understand me, my story. If only you knew, if
Mm-hmm.
only you knew how hard I had it. How can you tell me that me getting cheated on and me having all these horrible things happen is my fault? Like, I would have been really in there. And I think that um, our line of work and the way that we say things really does require a level of self and personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we're here to sometimes share the hard truths and to also invite you forward. And excuses is something that I have such little tolerance for now because
Mm-hmm.
of what I've had to walk myself through and the circumstances that I have had to do that in.
Yeah.
Um, I've used all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've, bathed poured myself a warm bath of I don't have time.
Mm.
I love that
Mm-hmm.
one. Time is a
That's a
great
good
one because
one.
you're like, I'm so busy. When things slow down, when do things slow down? When do
Never.
things actually fucking slow down?
Never. This is called
Like
evolution.
they don't.
They don't.
And oftentimes, yes, and also we make time for things we value. So if you want something and you're not doing it yet, you just don't value it enough or you don't understand the value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Right? Like it's fine. It's not the end, it's not a big deal. It's just that like I think about myself and I think about the things that I really value. I value going to the gym. I value having, I value my business. I value my kids. I value like there's things that are like sort of top priority and um I value my growth and expansion massively because when I understood like I am the conscious creator, I create everything in my life, I started to understand that like the ROI on me was the best fucking investment I could ever make because
Mm-hmm.
a bag or and don't get me wrong, I like both, but like a bag or a material thing is not going to give you that ROI. Maybe you can sell it for what you bought it for, or maybe less, or whatever it is. But it's like the amount of times I've seen people and they're like, here's my problem. And we have like maybe an hour call or like a half an hour call. And I'm basically like, here's the solution to everything of like what you're struggling with or your problem. And it's like, well, I don't have, whatever the time or the money or whatever. But I'm like, okay, well, number one, time. Do you ever go on Instagram? What's your screen time like? Do you ever
Mm-hmm.
watch Netflix? So time isn't the problem. It's that it's not a big enough priority yet. And again, it's like fine, but it's getting in right relationship with the reality of things, right? Like we make
Mm-hmm.
time for things we value. Or if it's money, right? Like it's like I've had people be like, "Oh, I can't, afford that or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, that's like it's fine." But again, it's like but then you see them like on vacation a week later with
Right.
the partner that they hate, right? Or that they're like been bitching about the whole time and then they're like posting
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram about how amazing
Mm-hmm.
and how in love they are. Or, they'll be buying a brand new handbag or doing, and again, there's no shame, but I think we just need to get really, um,
Honest.
we need to understand what's actually happening. And the other thing I will say is that resistance and our protector parts are really good and at telling us things like telling us and oftentimes in our mind it feels like our voice, it feels like real, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
um, we will say to ourselves all sorts of funny things, and when we're about to expand and we're about to do something different, those protector parts come online and they will fuck with us so hard. They will tell us, they'll whisper us like to like night, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have the time, you know what, do it on the next round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that feels better.
Mm-hmm.
Do it on, and then we have this moment and we're like, oh yeah, that feels so much better. That must mean alignment. That must mean I'm aligned with my decision because that gave me, how does it feel in my body? It feels expansive and relaxing. And it's like, bitch, you just got fucking catfished by your protector parts.
That's called
You got fucking bait and
complacency.
switched by your protector parts. Your protector parts. Yes,
Ah.
and like this is the thing, our resistance loves to dress up, and be like, "Oh, I can't," and this and that. And like I think when I started to really be okay with no's and yeses, and this doesn't mean that you have to do everything, that's not it at all. But oftentimes, and this is why we also created the shed session coming up, is because what you and I understand, and I don't think, a lot of the collective does, is that like our subconscious and our nervous system it's there to protect us, keep us safe, and keep us alive. It doesn't care if we're happy, abundant, and we're manifesting all the dreams we want in the world. It cares about whether we're safe and alive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not in service to our dreams and our visions. And so what we're trying to help you do in this upcoming shed session is it's an experience where we're actually going into the nervous system. We're dissolving blocks and resistance, but we're also helping you get once you see it, you can't unsee it. And we're helping you understand what's happening subconsciously. So a subconscious means it's beneath the surface. You can't see it until you see it and you're like, fuck, we bring it up to
Mm-hmm.
the light. But oftentimes, if we've grown up in chaotic environments or we are really afraid of expansion, like let's say we want to have a, beautiful creative business, we want to share art or a message or, whatever it is, our craft with the world. If we want that, but then we have had, that means we're going to have to be visible. That means we're going to have to charge people. And we got all fucking bent out of shape about money and what that means and all these pieces. Guess what we're going to do? Our protective parts are going to come online. They're going to sabotage, the
Mm-hmm.
part of us that really wants it. It's going to create a lot of chaos. It's going to create a lot of drama. And it happens behind the scenes very sneakily. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, you're right. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the whatever. And then these excuses come up. They make us feel warm and fuzzy. They lull us back to sleep. But then we're constantly having that rumble beneath the surface of like, I'm not self-actualizing. I'm not doing what I love. Like, what is that? And so I know the reason you and I are also doing this is because like this is something that was like a living hell of
Mm-hmm.
having so much magic and so much art and things I wanted to express, but I couldn't. And so I was creating this chaos cycle. I was addicted to cortisol, addicted to
Mm-hmm.
chaos, addicted to adrenaline because I had had so many traumatic, like just chaotic events that had happened in my life. I was running multiple businesses. I had young kids. I had a kid in the NICU. I had like all of these, like, I had through my people pleasing, through my good girl, through my inability to say no, I was manifesting chaos because that's how I knew how to survive. It's like the nervous system likes familiarity. It likes,
Mm-hmm.
if you're always busy and you're always stressed out, guess what? It creates more of it unconsciously. Even though you're like, oh my God, I hate this. I want this to stop. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. We will unconsciously create chaos through the questions we don't ask, through like look at this in dating, right? You can
The
attest to this, I'm
thoughts
sure as
that
well.
we
Like when you're
think.
seeing coaching people on dating, it's like they're not asking questions about totally. They're like not asking questions about these partners. They're not asking, do you want kids? And then they're getting themselves into these relationships where like 7 months down the road, they're like, oh, you don't want kids? And then guess what happens? Chaos. And they get to reaffirm the idea that they're
Mm-hmm.
unworthy. But it's like, no, bitch, you just didn't ask whether this person wanted kids or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it creates chaos and it creates disappointment and it creates all these things that we then get to reaffirm this personality and identity. So this is why like you and I have experienced what that's like to create a lot of excess chaos and drama in the light in one's life. And it's painful until you actually see what's happening and you can correct it and you can go in and clear it and understand and start making really empowered decisions and to start, yeah, really reflecting and actually shed and simplify your life because
Mm-hmm.
it's simple. I wouldn't say it's easy necessarily because our protectors come out, but it's a very simple thing to do. It's not
Mm-hmm.
hard, and you and I are, I think really good at going in and helping people not only see it first, so we sort of bubble it up to the surface. We identify the patterns. We in these shed sessions we show them what they are. There's like that shining the light on them. You can't fucking unsee it. You literally can't forget it. And then we actually go in and we clear like a lot of the debris from the nervous system and from the body, and that really helps. Like we've had people have amazing results really quickly from these sessions because of how we're doing it, and we're doing it from a place of again our own experience and having a lot of compassion and a non-judgmental space of being like, if you feel chaotic, if you feel stressed out and you're like, I don't have time for this master class or this shed session, I'm like, you need this more than anybody
Yeah, you do.
because we were going to help you. It's a short-term investment of your time,
Mm-hmm.
short-term investment, big long-term gain, big
Mm-hmm.
long-term gain,
Mm-hmm. Is your
right?
freedom and liberation worth 2 hours of your time and $44? I don't know. For me, yes. Yes, it would. Seems like a pretty
Nah,
solid
I kind of like the
ROI.
pattern.
Nah. But that's just it, right? Like, and I think people saw a lot of that over
Well,
COVID too, because like all of a sudden everything in your world shuts down and like you're left to your own devices and you can't plug into the chaos that was your life before. And now you are stuck in between your four walls. And what has happened is this mass psychosis where people have like gone really internal and they start spinning stories and ideas and beliefs and nonsense in their own mind to generate the chaos because they weren't able to plug in to the external chaos anymore. And now that we're obviously through the pandemic and we're in a very discombobulating time, um, that pattern has continued where like, oh well, if it's calm, and I see this a lot in relationships, like when people who historically have had very chaotic imprints finally land a partner who's emotionally healthy, they will start to sabotage it. They will start to drop relational fucking bombs, emotional bombs, pick fights, do the silent treatment, withhold information, all these little fucking things that, one alone probably is not going to do much, but when you start doing them on a regular basis and you compound them, it creates a fuck ton of chaos inside of that relationship. And all of a sudden, you go from having a very like grounded, landed, open partnership to fucking hell on earth. And you're like, how did, see, it never works out for me. See, it must be them. And not knowing that, like, at least for me, this is like the biggest aha moment of my life. It was the thing that really jump started my personal development, my spiritual development, was the realization that I am the common denominator in every single one of my relationships. And even though prior to that realization, I had a story that all of them were the problem and they were all the same. But it never occurred to me to look at the fact that I chose them. Like, I was the one doing the picking and selecting. And my ways of being were so unconscious that even the best relationship, I was like, not for long. Like, it's time to create some chaos. And, I'll take it from like this vantage point. I really think that when we aren't living to the fullest of our potentiality, we find these subtle ways to get a hit of aliveness. And creating chaos is a way to feel alive, but it also has a massive cost to it. So it's not true aliveness. It's like it's kind of like aliveness in drag, or like it's the manufactured aliveness, but it's not the true thing. Because if there's, on the back end of it, a massive burnout that happens, which is the case with chaos. Every time you generate chaos, there's a huge energetic price you have to pay. There is a price on your body. There's a price on your emotions. There's a price on your relationships, probably on your bank account. Every single area of your life is impacted when you are generating chaos. Versus when you learn how to alchemize chaos and you understand these parts, like Christine was talking about so brilliantly. When you understand the mechanics of it, you can start to move differently. And when you move differently, you are now on the track of creating genuine aliveness. And when you're generating like genuine aliveness, there isn't that energetic fallout. There isn't that emotional fallout. There isn't those other prices to pay. In fact, you become more you. You become more vital. You become more alive. It's sustainable over time. And so this is why we're hammering on this so hard today, because in the club, overall, we are committed to your evolution as a woman who is in her power, who is in her vital aliveness. Because women like that, who are vitally alive and holding their power, those are women who are going to cast ripples of transformation through the entire fucking matrix. We need more of those, because the matrix it's fucked. Like, we don't want to leave people to their devices here. We see how that has turned out. It hasn't historically turned out so well for humanity. So we have to make a pivot. We can't keep doing the same shit over and over and over and expect transformation. That's not how transformation works. You actually have to change. You actually have to do the gritty fucking work of getting down in the fucking trenches with yourself and being like, oh, okay, like, why am I generating chaos? What is the payoff here? And we're going to be exploring that inside of the shed. Because if you don't know what that is, if you don't know the underlying reason that is drawing you into that pattern, and what you get to avoid, what you get to hide behind, well, you're going to keep doing it and continuing to be victimized by the results that you cause and the ones that you don't cause. It's both and. I'm victimized by the fact that life isn't working out in my favor, and I'm also victimized by the fact that the things that I want seem to elude me. Well, the things that you want, they have to be an energetic and vibrational match. And chaos is not the energetic vibrational match to you can manifest those things from a place of chaos. 100% you can, but you cannot sustain them from a place of chaos. So this is why we want to give you the blueprint and the map and the tools, so that when you do manifest the dream business or the dream relationship or the dream body or the dream, bank account number, you can sustain it, because it's coming from that core of like actual activated aliveness, not from this unconscious chaos. And to me, like, that is a really important investment. It's a really important piece to get locked and loaded in your system, because without it, you're going to keep spinning your tires. And, eventually, like, I wonder how much of illness is really like chaos gone fucking wild for far too long. Obviously not every illness, but I think there are definitely cases, and a case to be made around when we live our life off purpose, when we live outside of our energetic alignment, outside of our emotional alignment, outside of our spiritual alignment. Again, there's a cost to the body. And if you keep depleting the body, eventually it's going to break down. And we don't love that for you. We don't love that for anybody. And the same is true in your relationships. Like, if you aren't giving them what they actually need to sustain and thrive, they will break down. And some will break down to the point where they are not repairable. Like, I am all for possibility, but like, I'm also for reality. And the reality is, if you create in chaos for far too long, you will get to a point of no return in your relationships. There are some things that you do, they do, that you cannot come back from. And so if love and relationship and connection is a value of yours, alchemizing chaos needs to be a tool in your toolkit. If being abundant and having a thriving business that is in service to the collective is important to you, alchemizing chaos is a tool that you need in your toolkit. If you want to be healthy and thriving and mobile in your body and being able to like do fucking pull-ups when you're 90, you have to know how to alchemize chaos and have that in your toolkit. Literally everything that you want in your life requires you to have this skill locked and loaded, so that you can literally step into your ability to powerfully create and build the nervous system infrastructure so that you can hold what it is that you want to create. Because most people don't know how to hold the energetic of aliveness in their nervous system. They're coded for chaos, so they know how to hold that in their nervous system. But they don't know how to hold vital aliveness, because it's much more vulnerable. And so you have to train your body. You have to train your nervous system. We've started that in the challenge this week. We go really deep into that in the year-long transformational portal that is the club. And then all of these additional offers that we talked about, they all hold a vital piece. So the shed, we get to go into the nuts and bolts of a specific topic. And we want to give you these tools because we understand the transformational value of that. And whether you can come into the club or not is kind of irrelevant. Like, if you're out in the world alchemizing chaos, that is a benefit to me. That's a benefit to Christine. That's a benefit to everyone on this planet. The world is better off if you have that tool in your toolkit. So no excuses. Like, challenge yourself. challenge yourself. Like, notice what the excuse is that comes up, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's I have to run everything past my spouse. Like, there are a whole world of excuses that can come up. But notice what did. Like, I can't do. Oh, it's in a different time zone. That's inconvenient. Well, you know what? There's a replay. Like, so the thing is, like, we've taken these things into consideration. The problems that you're generating have actually been solved for. So if the truer thing is that I'm actually just not committed to my transformation, at least have the courage to say that. That is where you're going to, activate more power than running an excuse and thinking like, well, it's just like the time, the money, the, the time of the call. I'm at work. I can't do this. Da 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 da. I don't like it that it's 2 hours long. Okay. Like, then just say the fucking truth that you're not actually committed to your transformation. You're not committed to living a vitally alive life. And that's okay. Like, there are chapters of my life where that was absolutely true. And again, around that time where I learned that I'm the common denominator in everything, I also learned that if I were to tell the truth, that is where my power comes back online. Even if the truth is ugly, even if the truth is actually, I'm not committed to this, I would actually prefer to play small. At least I'm being honest with myself. And then I can play that out and be like, okay, this is what I am creating, and I know the limitations of that, and, I accept my fate. And you're probably going to play with that for a while and be like, this is not my right size. What the fuck am I doing? And then turn it around and be like, okay, if I was someone that was committed to my transformation, what would I be doing? What would I be saying? What would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? And then you start the deconstruction and recreation and reconstruction phase. They get to happen simultaneously. We take down what is not working, and then we build up what is. And it's this really beautiful process. And it takes about a year. It takes about a year for that to fully lock in that identity and the habits and the patterns. That's why the club is a year long. Not because we're like, oh, let's be bitches and like force them to work with us for a year. No, because we know we've tested and we've trialed like what actually works. And I have never seen like long sustainable challenge or like transformation happen in anything less than a year of devotional behavior and a community that is cheering and championing, and you're getting those relational imprints, and you're getting a new relational blueprint, and you're getting a new energetic blueprint, and a new money blueprint, and a new expansion blueprint. It takes time for your body and your nervous system to trust that if you've had a lifetime of not having that. So that's why we pop you into a year-long container and we get to work. Because we know when you come out the other side, zing zing, watch out, fucking world. That's a woman on fire in all the best ways.
Mm. So good. So good. I think sometimes we don't. And a big humbling thing for me was like, I didn't realize how committed to my limitation I was. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't really understand how I would fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember so one time somebody like they would be like, okay, well, what about this? Like they were solution oriented, and I
Right.
was like, not.
Shooting
And
it
they'd be like,
down.
okay, well, what about this? And I was like, no, because of this. And they'd be like, okay, well, what about this? Just like shoot it down and shoot it down. And at one point, I think they said like, you seem like you're quite committed to like where you are. And I was like, no, no, I'm not. I hate where I am.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, I've given you like 10 million solutions. I was like, and I had to look at that, and it was a big
Mm-hmm.
sting, but I was like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really double. Like, it's so funny how we double down on our beliefs and these limited ideologies. Like, all of this, we double down so hard on these things and we fight tooth and nail to stay where we are. But at the same time, bitch about, then we go on and call her a friend. And then we're just, again, like, recycling the drama and like, oh my God, and this, can you believe he did that again? I cannot believe that. He didn't even tell me he said he'd be home at 6 p.m. And guess what time he got home? You wouldn't believe it. Guess where he went? He went out for drinks. And I bet you that fucking slutty little hostess was
Bartender.
serving them again and blah, 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 blah. Listen, I'm not. We love you. But like, this is the reality is like, we have power. Like, I remember, fuck, chaos has gotten in me in so much trouble, and I can't wait to share more in the shed, like our personal journeys a little bit more with this and in the club. But um, I mean, you said about the body, like it affects your body. It does affect your body. Like the chaos caused me to go into the worst health crisis of my life. Like
Right.
I didn't know how to say no. I was totally in like hustle mode. I was building a business that was the fuel in the gas tank was unworthiness and like proving energy. And so like I would grind myself to the ground. Like I remember one time I was sitting in the NICU. I just had my daughter 6 weeks early because of stress. And I was sitting there in the NICU. I was trying to pump. Couldn't get any like breast milk because I was like so stressed out. And obviously her being early. And I'm sitting there trying to pump in this tiny room. And these things are like, wah, wah, wah. And I'm like, have AirPods in, calling a fitness instructor with some shitty feedback. I had no studio manager. We had like no money. I'm like, had no support. And I'm like calling, being like, hey, feedback on your class wasn't great. And they fucking like lost it and lit me up like a Christmas tree. And I remember just sitting there being like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, but all of the unspoken things, all of the uh, lack of boundaries, no expectations, no structure. Like I resisted structure like the plague, and no, like there were so many things that it comes to when like it affects everything. Like when we create chaos unconsciously, um,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, it was very unconscious because if you'd ask me like, why are you creating chaos? I'd be like, fuck you, I'm not creating this. And it was like, but I didn't realize that it was coming. It's not me consciously, the conscious higher self version of me. It's like the part of me who is very conditioned, who's running and operating from like very like scarcity patterns and limited like ideas of myself. And that's the part that got me into all of those scenarios. It got me into survival mode. It got me really sick. Had adrenal fatigue one year and crazy burnout and pneumonia and an ear infection and shingles, and a tree fell on me, and I had panic attacks, and I couldn't drive and I couldn't teach. Like I thought I was going to die. And that was all from the sort of swirl of absolute chaos of like not leaving a partnership where I was like, where there was drug use and infidelity. Like again, it's just like, did I choose that? Like it wasn't like, I remember thinking like, well, I didn't choose this. Like I'm not going to take responsibility for the person's actions, but what I can take responsibility for and looking at and to get curious around is like, why did I not leave, or why did I allow myself to be in something or to stay in something where there was just constant chaos cycle? And so that's the thing we're really looking at is like, how do we create why and how, where do these things originate from, and how do we stop it? Because again, like it can, especially if you're in a chaos cycle, it can feel like you're too busy for anything, and it's like I can barely breathe. How am I supposed to have time for a master class, or how am I supposed to have time for this or whatever? And what I want to say is like you will have relief instantly on that class from being seen, from feeling heard, from feeling like people understand you, to feel like, oh my God, I'm not alone, I'm not fucked, to having like on the spot somatic nervous system regulation, like doing some shedding, some dissolving of blocks, like removing some energy from your body so you're not just chronically in dysregulation. Like that's the
Yes.
cool thing about these sessions that we do is that we're helping you with the tools and the processes that have helped you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like I have to say, there's been a lot of simplification in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of shedding and a lot of letting go. And
Mm-hmm.
um, that's why the shed's a great first start. But that's why in the club is where we do the holding of like, okay, well, when I shed, I'm losing something. When I'm saying no to something, I'm saying yes to something else. And can my nervous system hold good things and not self-sabotage and not push them away? And so that's like the pieces. Or can I handle the grief that would bring from the idea, from the fact that I might need to like leave that partnership or that job, or the thing that is contributing, the environment that's contributing to this dysregulation or the chaos as well. So that's where we like hold you in that after as well. So that's why I think that piece is really important as well, just to name that we have that. But I mean, we, as you can tell, like we joke, we have a lot of, but we also have a lot of stories. We have a lot of like, our own initiations, walking through the dark nights of the souls, our own like Phoenix Rising stories. So that's like anything we teach or anything we offer is just, it's an invitation to go deeper with us and to help you actually like with really simple and easy and like fun ways of learning to understand it. That like nothing is serious. There's nothing serious going on here. There's nothing that is, incurable. People sometimes come and they're like, it's almost like they just
And
need to get off their
fixed
chest around like the
state. Yeah.
deepest, darkest thing. And you and I are like, what else you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what else you got? Like,
Come
and
on.
they're like, what? And we're like, you're fine. Oh my God, this is amazing. You're gonna
We
be
love
like
you.
this in no time. And they're like, you can just see this like relief, like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, hallelujah. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I'm being seen. You want me to be more of me? You want me to be more messy? And we're like, fuck yeah. And like
Mm-hmm.
that alone just starts to like alchemize the chaos itself, because the
Yeah.
chaos can only continue to be fed when it's in the darkness, right, when it's
Yes.
not being seen.
Shadows.
So this is where we bring it to the light, and we're
Mm-hmm.
like, let's just help you really
Mm-hmm.
easily. You've
Mm-hmm.
got this.
You
Mhm,
got it. You
mhm.
got it. And
So
so we want to challenge you to not use your partner, your time, your kids, your money as an excuse to not step into your fully vital and alive life. Like, do yourself a fucking solid and make a commitment today to stop using the people and situations in your life as an excuse to stay small. And if you really want to take it to the next level, come into the shed or apply for the club. If your application is approved for the club, the shed is included. So if you're already feeling like you want to come into the club, just apply there, and we'll hop in, do an interview with you. If it all aligns, then you'll get the shed and Panther as part of your membership inside of the club. So we love you. Thank you for being here with us today. We are so excited to step into this alchemy with you on April 16th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all of those details are in the show notes as per usual. And we'll be back next week with another Zing Zinger. We love you. Bye. All in all, we want to say thank you for being here. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you liked today, give us a 5-star rating. And we'll see you next week.
And share it. If you know
Share.
somebody who needs this in their life, share this shit.
Yeah.
Abundance goes round and round. We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.